The human shuttle drifted quietly through space. Outside, the stars stretched in every direction, like tiny points of light, scattered across a black cloth. Inside, the human delegation prepared for the meeting that could decide the future of their world. Ethan sat in the main cabin, his hands folded over his lap. He was calm, though inside he felt the weight of thousands of eyes waiting to judge them. Maya checked her notes across from him, reviewing every detail about the council and what they might demand. Jackson, their security advisor, paced the aisle, his eyes scanning the cabin systems and the small viewports, imagining what the council might try. "They expect us to be afraid," Maya said quietly. "They expect us to bow and say yes to whatever they ask." "Fear won't help us," Ethan replied. "Humans have faced worse than a room full of aliens with fancy robes. We've survived wars, disasters, and even extinction threats. We can survive this too." End quote. Jackson stopped pacing and looked at them both. "I've read reports on the Council's history. Other species bend quickly. They beg for peace, or food, or protection. They obey because they fear what happens if they don't. But humans don't usually bow that easily." He smiled slightly. "We'll see if they understand that soon." FY. The shuttle hummed as it moved closer to the council station. The station was enormous, a ring-shaped structure orbiting a small star. Alien ships of many shapes hovered nearby, scanning, waiting, observing. The council had been expecting humans to arrive with fear in their hearts. But Ethan, Maya, and Jackson were determined not to give them that satisfaction. "Remember," Ethan said, "we are not just representing ourselves. We are representing all of humanity. Our words, our actions, our calmness, even our silence. It all counts." Maya nodded. "We will show them that humans are not weak, not foolish, not afraid." Jackson tapped a screen, pulling up schematics of the council chamber. "I've mapped every exit, every corridor, every drone placement. If they try anything, we will be ready. But I hope we won't need it." The shuttle docked smoothly. Massive doors opened to reveal the council hall, filled with creatures of every kind. Some had long necks, others had multiple arms, some had shapes that made human eyes struggle to focus. All were staring at the human delegation. The room was quiet, but the silence was heavy, thick, as if the very air expected the humans to crumble. A voice echoed through the hall. It was deep and sharp, not quite human in tone. "Humans, you are here because the council requires your obedience. Your species has grown fast. Your technology spreads too quickly. Your fleets appear where you should not be. You must accept the rules we set. You must swear loyalty. You must obey." Ethan stepped forward, keeping his expression calm. He did not bow. He did not flinch. Maya stood beside him, holding her tablet, ready to speak if needed. Jackson remained behind, quietly noting the positions of guards and council members, watching for signs of aggression. The council seemed to expect fear. They expected begging. They expected humans to lower their eyes and nod. But Ethan met their gaze evenly. "We are here to speak, not to kneel," he said in a voice that carried across the hall. "We have come to understand your concerns, to answer your questions, and to explain ourselves. But we will not accept being treated as lesser beings simply because we are young in the galactic community." Murmurs ran through the hall. Some council members leaned back, startled. Others whispered to each other. No one had spoken like that before. Young species usually bowed or pleaded. Humans did not. Varen, the senior counselor, frowned. He was a large, scaled creature, with 4 eyes and sharp claws. "You misunderstand," he hissed. Obedience is not optional. Your species must accept the Council's rules immediately. Refusal will bring consequences. Do you understand? Ethan's voice remained calm. We understand. And we also understand the responsibility of being a new member of a larger community. We do not seek conflict. We do not seek dominance. We only ask to be treated with respect and fairness. Maya stepped forward, her tone measured. Your council has presented terms that limit human expansion, research, and fleets without clear reasoning. We request evidence. We request discussion. Humans do not make decisions blindly, and we hope the council does not either. The room grew even quieter. Alien delegates shifted in their seats. Some were whispering in their own languages. Others were staring openly. Jackson could see the council's guards tensing, unsure how to react. Humans had broken the expected pattern. No fear, no panic, no begging, only calm, firm words. Varen hissed again. You are bold, human, bold and foolish. Very well. You will have a short time to respond. Accept our rules, or face isolation, sanctions, or war. Ethan nodded slightly. We will consider your terms. But understand this. Humans will not submit to fear. We will negotiate. We will cooperate. And we will find solutions that benefit all. We do not bow simply because someone tells us to. The council seemed confused. Many had never met a species that spoke this way. They whispered to each other, worried. Some were angry. Some were fascinated. Humans were small compared to the council's power, yet they did not behave like victims. They behaved like equals. After the meeting, the humans were escorted to their quarters. The rooms were luxurious, but clearly monitored. Cameras were hidden in corners. Jackson examined them and noted every device, every sensor, every access point. He quietly disabled some and created a secure channel to Earth Command. Maya reviewed her notes again. We've seen what the Council expects. They believe we are weak. They believe we will beg. They believe we will fear. But we have options. They underestimate humans. As always, Ethan sat by the window, looking at the ringed station. They think obedience is the path to safety. They do not understand humanity. We rebuild, we fight, we survive. Even when the odds are impossible. They should have remembered that before calling us here. Jackson smiled faintly. They also don't know that humans prepare for the worst while acting calm. We are patient. We are strategic. And we are not afraid to defend ourselves. That night, the human delegation sat together, discussing their next steps. They knew the Council would not simply accept questions. They knew that demands might come again. Harsher this time. But they also knew that humanity's strength was not in fear or obedience. It was in resilience, in intelligence, in cooperation, and in the will to stand when others would fall. As the stars shone outside the window, Ethan, Maya, and Jackson prepared themselves. They would meet the Council again. They would not bow. They would not beg. And they would show the galaxy that humans were not a species to be controlled. In the quiet of their quarters, Maya whispered. Ethan smiled. We will show them respect and strength. And with that, humanity's quiet defiance began. The Council did not yet know it. But the human delegation was the first ripple of a storm that would shake the galaxy, not with fire, but with the certainty of a species that refused to bow. The Council Hall was larger than any human had imagined. It was a high, circular chamber with glowing panels and floating platforms where Council members sat. Thousands of alien eyes watched as Ethan, Maya, and Jackson entered. Every creature looked different. Some had scales, some feathers, some smooth skin that shimmered in the light. Some had multiple limbs, while others had wings or tentacles. All of them stared at the human delegation, waiting for the expected fear or pleading. Varen, the senior counselor, stood at the center. His 4 eyes fixed on the humans as he hissed, "Humans, your species has grown too quickly. Your fleets spread into council space without permission. Your colonies operate outside council oversight. This is unacceptable. You must obey. You must accept our rules. Immediately." Ethan stepped forward, keeping his voice calm and firm. "We are listening," he said, "but understanding and obedience are not the same thing. We ask for clarity. We ask for explanation. Humans do not obey blindly, and we will not start now." Maya pulled up her tablet and displayed a holographic chart. "Your demands limit human research, fleets, and colonies without providing proof that we are a threat. We request evidence. Show us why the Council believes we must submit." We. A murmur ran through the hall. Some council members whispered among themselves. It was unusual for a species as young as humans to speak like this. Usually, species would bow or plead. These humans spoke with calm confidence, and that made the aliens uneasy. Varen hissed angrily, "Evidence is unnecessary. The Council decides what is necessary for peace and order. Your species must comply. Refusal will result in consequences. Do you understand? Alder, Tassus, do you understand?" Ethan did not flinch. He looked around the hall, meeting the eyes of council members one by one. "We understand the Council's position. We also understand that humans have faced threats before. We have survived wars, disasters, and near-extinction events. We have rebuilt every time. Fear will not guide our decisions." The council chamber grew tense. Several alien delegates whispered urgently. Some were clearly surprised. One small delegate, a creature with 3 eyes and green skin, leaned forward and muttered something in its own language. It was clear even among themselves, the council was not used to a species responding like this. Jackson quietly activated his internal map of the chamber. Every exit, drone, and surveillance device was noted in his mind. He scanned for any threat or unusual behavior. "So far, no attacks," he whispered to Maya. "But I'm ready. If they try anything, we can move fast." Maya nodded. "We don't want to fight, Jackson. We want fairness. But we are ready for whatever comes next." Varen hissed again. "Your defiance is dangerous, human. Do not mistake our patience for weakness. Obey, or you will face blockade, sanctions, or war." Ethan's expression remained calm. "We are not defiant without reason. Humans do not submit to fear. We will negotiate, we will cooperate, and we will find solutions that benefit all. Threats will not make us bow. Respect and partnership can." The council murmurs grew louder. Some delegates were angry. Others were clearly intrigued. They had not expected this calm firmness. It was not fear, not anger, just steady words that carried authority. Varen's 4 eyes narrowed. "Very well," he hissed. "We will give you limited time to respond. Consider carefully. You have 1 standard cycle to agree or face punishment." Ethan nodded once. "We will consider your terms. We also remind the Council that humans are not a species that can be controlled by fear alone. We seek partnership, not subjugation." The humans were escorted to their quarters. The rooms were luxurious, but every corner had sensors and cameras. Jackson quietly mapped the devices and found ways to bypass some of the surveillance. He established a secure channel to Earth Command. Maya reviewed her notes, checking the data about the Council's rules and restrictions. They expect us to panic, Maya said softly. They expect us to beg. They expect us to kneel. But we do not. They underestimate humans, as always. Ethan looked out the window at the ring of stars surrounding the Council station. They assume obedience is the path to safety. They do not understand humanity. Humans rebuild. We fight. We survive. Even when all seems lost. They should have remembered that before calling us here. Over the next hours, Ethan and Maya prepared their response. They drafted careful statements, pointing out the unfair limits on human colonies, research, and fleets. They also studied the Council itself, noting which members seemed uncertain, which were aggressive, and which appeared more reasonable. Jackson studied the security layout of the chamber and the surrounding station. He knew that Varen's threats could be empty, but they could also hide traps. He made plans for evacuation or defense, quietly sharing notes with Ethan and Maya. When the humans returned to the Council Hall, Varen repeated the rules. You have been given time. The Council demands obedience. Agree or face consequences. Ethan stepped forward. We have considered your terms. We will not agree to submission based on fear. Humans respect strength and fairness. We respect the Council. We also respect ourselves. We will not kneel to threats. Maya added, your restrictions on research, fleets, and colonies are not supported by evidence. We ask for negotiation and partnership instead of punishment. Humans are willing to cooperate, but we cannot accept rules that harm our growth without reason. The Council members whispered urgently. Some were shocked. One delegate with blue feathers and 4 arms leaned forward. Intrigued, others hissed angrily at Ethan's calm refusal. Varen's voice rose. You dare defy the Council? Do you threaten us? Ethan shook his head. We do not threaten. We do not act with violence. We act with honesty and clarity. Humans will negotiate, will work with you, and will seek fair solutions. But we will not obey out of fear. Fear is not the way forward. Cooperation is. Maya displayed holograms of human trade, medicine, and technology used across the galaxy. Many worlds depend on human innovation. Cutting off humans will hurt these systems, not strengthen them. We can help the Council, and all worlds prosper, but only with mutual respect. Jackson quietly transmitted images of human fleets on the outskirts of Council space. They were in formation, but they were not aggressive. Their presence was a reminder that humans were not powerless. Councilors looked at one another. Whispers filled the hall. Some delegates were shocked. They had expected panic, begging, or compliance. Instead, they saw humans speaking with calm strength, showing facts, and offering cooperation without submission. Varen hissed and banged his claws on the podium. You dare show your fleets and data? Insolent humans. You think this will save you? Ethan's voice remained calm. We do not threaten. We only show reality. Humans are not helpless. We are not subjects. We are partners, if treated fairly. Your threats do not frighten us. Your respect, your reason, and your cooperation will matter more than force. The room fell silent again. Council members whispered urgently. Small worlds that had always followed. The Council quietly nodded in agreement with some of Ethan's points. The human words were planting doubt and curiosity. Maya said, we are willing to work together, under rules that make sense, that benefit all species. Humans are capable of understanding and compromise. We do not seek to dominate, only to exist freely and contribute. Varen's eyes narrowed. You are bold, human. Very well. We will consider your words. But remember, consequences are still possible. The Council will not forget your defiance. 1. Bold. Ethan and Maya nodded. They remained calm, knowing that calmness and truth were their strongest tools. Jackson observed quietly, noting which council members were most likely to change their minds, and which might resist. After the session, the human delegation returned to their quarters. They knew this was only the beginning. The council had been stunned. Some delegates intrigued, others angry. The humans had spoken clearly, firmly, and respectfully. They had not begged. They had not panicked. They had shown that humans would stand. Ethan looked out the window again at the stars. This is only the first step. The council will try to push us again, but we have made our position clear. They will not forget humans speak and act differently than expected. Maya nodded. They expected obedience. Instead, we gave them reason, patience, and truth. The council may not like it, but they will have to consider it. Jackson relaxed slightly. And if they try anything, we are ready. Humans always are. As the stars stretched across the dark void, the human delegation prepared for the next session. They knew the council would return with demands, threats, and pressure. But humans had a way of facing impossible odds calmly. And they would continue to do so, showing that humanity's strength was in courage, intelligence, and the will to stand without fear. Part 2 ends with the council unsettled, unsure how to handle these humans who did not obey, did not fear, and offered partnership instead of submission. Across the hall, whispers of doubt and curiosity grew. Humanity had planted the first seeds of change. After the second council session, the human delegation returned to their quarters. The hall had been tense, but Ethan, Maya, and Jackson knew this was only the beginning. The council had been shocked by humanity's calm refusal to obey. Some members whispered about the humans' courage. Others were angry. But all were thinking, humans did not act like other species. In their quarters, Maya and Jackson set up a secure communication channel to Earth Command. They wanted to send a full report on the council's demands, the reactions of the delegates, and the potential risks. Ethan watched as Maya typed quickly, her hands moving with precision. Jackson checked security feeds, making sure no council member could intercept their messages. Earth needs to know everything, Maya said. They must understand how bold these humans are, and how tense the council has become. We cannot handle this alone. Ethan nodded. We are not alone. Humanity is behind us. And humanity has faced worse than threats from older, larger powers. We know how to survive. And we know how to negotiate. Jackson looked at them both. This is more than survival. The council expects fear. We have given them calm and reason that surprises them. It also gives us an advantage. If we act carefully, we can turn their fear of us into respect, or at least caution. Maya pulled up data on the council's member worlds. She studied their economies, resources, and dependencies. Many of these worlds rely on human technology, medicine, and food. Some secretly fear what would happen if humans were cut off. This is leverage. If we use it wisely. Ethan leaned back in his chair. We do not threaten. We offer partnership. We show them that humanity can be trusted, but will not be controlled. This is a new approach. Older species are not used to it. They expect submission, not reason. The. Jackson studied maps of human fleets stationed at the edge of council space. They were ready to respond to any hostile action. But their orders were simple. Defend only if necessary, avoid aggression, and always act as a deterrent, not a weapon. Our fleets are in position, Jackson said quietly. Ethan and Maya began drafting a new strategy. They would not accept the council's demands as they were. They would offer alternatives. Partnerships, shared research agreements, and joint defense plans. They would show the council that humans were valuable allies, not rebellious subjects. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, Earth's leaders gathered in a virtual meeting. Nations from every continent were connected, their leaders watching the humans at the council station. They reviewed the delegation's report. Maps of council space, details about member worlds, and the human speeches from the hall were displayed. One leader spoke. "We underestimated the council's control, but we also underestimated humans. Our delegation has shown courage and reason. We must back them fully. Humanity will not bend, but it will cooperate." Another added, "We have faced wars, plagues, and near extinction. Humans rebuild and rise stronger every time. This council may be powerful, but they cannot intimidate humanity into obedience. They will learn that soon enough." Back on the council station, Ethan, Maya, and Jackson prepared for the next session. They reviewed every possible scenario. They practiced speeches and statements, emphasizing calm, clarity, and respect. They knew the council would return with harsher demands and more pressure. Maya studied economic reports again. "If we can show the council the benefits of working with us, rather than punishing us, they will have to reconsider. Many smaller worlds depend on human trade. They will notice if we are cut off. That can be a way to encourage cooperation." Jackson nodded. "I've studied the council's security patterns. They expect panic. They expect anger. If we remain calm, steady, and prepared, we maintain the advantage. We are ready for any challenge." Ethan added, "We also need to remind the Council of human history, without arrogance. We survived disasters, wars, and near annihilation. Humans can stand firm without violence. That is our strength. We must show it without threatening them." The next council session began. The hall was full again, larger than before, and the councilors' expressions were sharper. They had reviewed the previous meetings and were clearly irritated by the humans' calm defiance. Varen hissed, "Humans, you have ignored our demands. You have delayed. You must obey. Your defiance will not be tolerated." Ethan stepped forward. "We have considered your terms. We have studied your rules and your concerns. We are not here to defy without reason. Humans respect order and peace. We are willing to cooperate and to find agreements that benefit all. But obedience, out of fear, is not acceptable." Maya displayed a holographic chart showing human trade, medicine, and technology flows across the galaxy. Cutting off humans or forcing obedience will hurt more worlds than it helps. Our systems are intertwined. Humanity can help the Council achieve stability without oppression. A murmur ran through the hall. Smaller worlds whispered to each other, some nodding in agreement. Even some council members began to look thoughtful, realizing humans were offering reason and partnership instead of rebellion or chaos. Varen hissed angrily, "You think we are weak? That your words can change anything? Obedience is required, or punishment will follow." Ethan's voice remained calm. "We do not threaten. We show reality. Humans are strong, capable, and willing to work with others. Forcing obedience is unnecessary and harmful. Cooperation, fairness, and respect are stronger than fear." Jackson activated a secure channel to human fleets. Live feeds of ships, holding formation at the edge of council space, appeared on the hall's display. The ships were not aggressive, but their presence reminded all council members that humans were not defenseless. Councilors whispered among themselves. Some were angry, some intrigued, and some clearly nervous. The human delegation had surprised them. These small beings were not panicking. They were not begging. They were calm, prepared, and firm. Maya added, "We are offering partnership. We do not seek dominance. We do not seek war. But we also do not accept control without reason. Humans have a history of survival, resilience, and rebuilding. We ask for fair treatment, and we offer our cooperation in return. The room fell silent. Even Varen seemed uncertain. The human delegation had done more than speak. They had shifted the council's perception. The humans were not a threat in the way the council feared, but they were also not to be controlled. Ethan looked around, meeting the eyes of many counselors. We hope the council will see that working with humans, rather than against us, benefits everyone. We will negotiate. We will cooperate. But we will not obey out of fear. The council session ended, and the humans were escorted back to their quarters. Whispers of doubt, curiosity, and respect followed them. Smaller worlds began to consider their own positions. Even some council members realized that humans could not be dismissed lightly. In their quarters, Ethan, Maya, and Jackson reviewed the session. The council is unsettled, Maya said. They expected fear and submission. They got calm, reason, and strength. That will change how they act next. Jackson nodded. And if they try more threats, our fleets and security plans are ready. Ethan looked at the stars outside the window. This is only the beginning. The council will return with new pressure. We must remain steady, clear, and firm. Humans do not fear what is fair, and we will continue to show it. Maya smiled faintly. They expected obedience. Instead, we offered respect and truth. That alone is powerful. Now, we wait and prepare for the next step, Jackson added, and we are ready for whatever comes. Humans always are. As the stars stretched endlessly across the void, the human delegation continued their preparations. They studied, strategized, and strengthened their position. They had not bowed. They had not panicked. They had shown the council that humans were capable of calm, firm, and reasoned defiance. And in that calm defiance, they had begun to shift the balance. The council had underestimated humans. They had expected obedience, and instead, they had been shown a species that would stand, speak, and act with courage, intelligence, and resilience. The seeds of change were planted, and humanity's response had stunned the council. Now, it was only a matter of time before the council would see how far humans were willing to go, and how much they had already changed the galaxy's expectations.